So now you're probably wondering what P53 actually activates, what kind of genes. And it basically activates genes that can then go on to activate caspases, which are the proteases that degrade the cell. So caspases, there's actually been 12 recognized, but they don't all are involved in apoptosis. And the ones that are involved in apoptosis can be divided into two classes. There's the initiator class and the effector class. Okay, so the initiator class are made up of caspases 2, 8, 9, and 10. And the effector class is caspases 3, 6, and 7. And this textbook focuses on 8 and 9 and 3. Okay, so those are the ones that we'll be talking about. So how do these caspases get activated? They're basically activated, they're regulated by a class of proteins. They're called BCL2 family proteins, and there's many of them. Some of them are activators, some of them are inhibitors. And these regulate two proteins that are in the cytoplasm called BAC and BAX. Okay, so one of these BCL2 family proteins is, or one class of them, is the BH3 only activating proteins. Okay, and when these go and activate BAC or BAX, the BAC or BAX can then polymerase and form oligomers, so multi-subunit proteins that actually can be implanted into mitochondria in the outer membrane of the mitochondria. And when they're implanted into the outer membrane, it forms a hole, like a pore, that allows cytochrome C to exit the cell. Cytochrome C can then bind to apoptotic protease activating factor 1. And when apoptotic protease activating factor 1 becomes activated, it can polymerize as well, and it forms an oligomer, which is like a 7-spoke protein. Okay, now when this is formed, it actually recruits caspase 9. So caspase 9 is recruited. And when these are recruited and all brought together, it can form a catalytic site. And this catalytic site can then go and cleave pro-caspase 3 to form caspase 3, and caspase 3 is now activated to go and degrade various compounds in the cell. Now, to mention some other things, so BH3 only activating protein, it can be, an example of that is Puma, but it can be inhibited by BCL inhibiting proteins. And then there's also sensitizers. And sensitizers actually block the inhibitors so that BCL3 can still activate BAC and BAX. So I mentioned cytochrome C leaving the mitochondria. There are some other proteins that are mentioned that also leave the mitochondria. Some of these are SMAC and Diablo, and these go and they actually de-repress. So they stop the degradation of caspase 3, so they actually prolong it so that it stays in the cytoplasm. And then another one that is released is apoptotic initiating factor, AIF. So apoptotic initiating factor will then go migrate to the nucleus, where it initiates chromatin condensation and degradation.